Welcome to the CETEC podcast, your go-to source for everything environmental engineering. Join us as we delve into sustainable industrial practices, exploring topics like wastewater treatment, water purification, solid waste management, air quality control, noise and vibration, environmental impact assessments, and the latest in environmental legislation. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an industry leader, a student, or simply someone eager to make a positive impact, you're in the right place. Together, let's pave the way to a sustainable future, one episode at a time.
Hi everyone, welcome you all back for another video of our video series which focused on environment engineering. So today we are going to talk about the lead acid batteries. We frequently use this lead acid battery, and today we are going to discuss about the disposal of these lead acid batteries and what is the technical guideline in Sri Lanka to manage these used lead acid batteries. Lead acid batteries are widely used for the automotive and stationary sources or purposes in Sri Lanka, and size and the capacities are dependent on the purpose of which they are used. And batteries are mainly classified into 5 categories, such as automobile, generic, industrial, motive, and special. So we will discuss what are these categories in detail later. That has been calculated, or that has been estimated that lead acid batteries power approximately 1.5 million vehicles in Sri Lanka, and improper dispose of these batteries pose a significant environment and health impact. So as a responsible citizen, we have a duty to dispose these lead acid batteries in a proper manner. So uh, objective of this guideline is to ensure the environmentally sound management of these used lead acid batteries in Sri Lanka. What are the categories of these lead acid batteries? So there are 5 categories. First one is the automotive, so where we used for our vehicles, cars, trucks, and motorcycles, and there's another category called generic, where we use for the portable tools and emergency lighting. And the next one is industrial, like the power station, UPS, and the telecom communication. We use the lead acid batteries. And the motives, like golf cars, forklift, wheelchairs, those are the motives. And there are some other special category where the lead acid batteries are used for the scientific research and medical and military use. So the battery life of this lead acid battery is defined as the period of time in which the battery is capable of being recharged and retain the charge. So being recharge and retain the charge, the time period for that process, how long we can recharge and retain the charge is considered as the battery life. So on the ideal condition, the automotive battery or the automobile battery has a 6 years of lifespan, and once the battery is no longer capable of being recharged or to retain that charge, the lifetime of that battery reaches to end and it become a used battery, and then it has to be sent to the recycle for recycling of the material inside the battery. So what are the hazards or challenges of this used battery management? So there's a lead inside the battery and the sulfuric acid. So the lead and sulfuric has the spill and contamination hazard, and there's a risk incorporated with the improper collection, storage, and transport as well. And the statistics shows that there are over 2,000 facilities in Sri Lanka to handle these used batteries. But the problem is whether they follow the exact guideline or the safe procedure to handle these batteries. So in Sri Lankan technical guideline, they have mentioned several categories. The first category is for the users or the general public. So all the users like us should hand over our outdated battery only to registered dealer or the registered collectors or the licensed recyclers. which are mentioned at the Central Environment Authority website. And outdated batteries or this used batteries should not be disposed uh, or drained into the environment. So the leaking batteries should also be handed over to the registered collectors or dealers immediately when we identify the leaking. And the necessary precautions should be made to prevent this skin contact with the liquid or the cover with the leaking battery. So we have to wear the proper protective gears covering our body during the handling and at the transportation. Then the next set of rules is for the collection points. So um, with the exception of a few dry batteries that may arouse at a collection point, almost all used batteries will retain its sulfuric acid electrode, which means there are sulfuric acid inside of this battery other than the dry batteries. But mostly in Sri Lanka, we have batteries with acid. So this drainage of this liquid may pose a severe threat to human health and to the environment. So it contains high lead levels and as soluble ions and particulate foam. So this lead contamination is also a severe threat imposed by these used batteries. So since the sulfuric acid is there, that will cause burns and damage if accidentally spilled, and it requires a special acid resistance containers for the storage. And its drainage requires workers to be protected with a suitable protection, personal protection, and equipment has to be there to handle these batteries in a safe manner without having any risk of injury. So, for the collectors, it is recommended that batteries should not be drained to the environment at all stages at the collection point, and electrolyte should be collected to an acid resistant container, which means basically the acid inside the battery should not be discharged to the environment. And also, there's a requirement for the collectors, they should register at the CEA. So, when you're handing over the batteries to the collection points, you have to make sure that whether they are registered under the Central Environment Authority. And the collected these outdated batteries should be handed over to the licensed recyclers by these collection points. So until this handing over to the recyclers, the batteries has to be stored. So the storage guidelines uh, has to be like this. So ideal place to store this used lead acid battery is inside the acid resistant container that may be simply sealed and used for the transport container. This storage place of these acid resistant containers or the batteries should be sheltered from rain and other water sources, and it has to be equipped with a water collection system, and this place has to be away from the heat sources as well. So the storage place must have a ground cover, preferably acid resistant concrete or any other acid resistant material, so that will retain any leakages and direct it into the collecting container from where it can be removed afterwards. So the storage place ground cover is another important factor when we are considering about the storage of this used lead acid batteries. Um, and of course, the storage place must have an exhaust ventilation system, and uh, so that it will omit the risk of accumulating hazardous gas. And it must have a restricted access and should be identified as a hazardous material storage area. So even after creating this protected storage place, this collection point should not be a storage of large number of used batteries and must not be considered as a permanent storage place. And in the case of accidental spillage, there should be sufficient flow washing systems which can direct the wash water to a separate container and dispose only after neutralization or dilution. So that is the storage guideline for the these collectors. And from collectors to the recyclers, we have to do the transportation. So when we are doing the transportation, there's a guide, some set of rules for the transportation as well. So we have to consider these used lead acid batteries as hazardous material, and these transport batteries should be done in a sealed, shock resistant and acid proof containers. And this vehicle also should be marked as hazardous waste and equipped with a spill management tools within the vehicle. And the trained personnel should do this transportation, and they should wear the personal protective garments or the equipment PPEs as well. And before the transportation, they have to take the license for the transportation from the Central Environment Authority. And when we are choosing the route for this transport material, it should be always the route has to be minimize the risk of possible accidents or any other problems. So that is also another important thing when we are selecting the route for the transport. So then, once the batteries arrive to the recycling facility, then they also have to follow the same storage guideline which we discussed earlier for the incoming batteries. And when we are dismantling the battery at the recycling point, this that should be also carried in a sheltered area and must have a ground cover, again preferably acid resistant concrete or any other acid resistant material, and that may retain any leakages and direct it into a collecting sump, and which is again connected to the treatment plant or the neutralization facility of this acid water. And again, here also the workers has to be wear PPEs. And any industries dealt with this battery manufacturing or recycling has to get the approval from the Central Environment Authority through a Environment Protection License or the EPL. And in Sri Lanka, there's no chance for importing scrap lead acid batteries. So that is, importing of these scrap or used lead acid batteries is totally banned in Sri Lanka. So there are few stakeholders as we discuss here, such as users, collectors, and recyclers. So users has the responsibility of proper handling of these used batteries, and the collectors, they have to maintain their registration and safe storage, and the transport they have to follow the specific guideline. And when it's come to the recyclers, they have to adhere to the environment regulation and ensure the safe recycling at their facility. So that is so there's a, in the Sri Lankan guideline, they have mentioned a specific symbol also to display at the registered collection point. So as general public, you can familiar with this logo, so that they will be displayed at registered collection points. And as responsible citizens, we can hand over our used lead acid batteries to collection points which has marked this logo or considered as a registered collection points. So key takeaways from this content would be the proper management of these useless lead acid batteries mitigate the risk to health and to the environment. And cooperation between the users, collectors, and recyclers is essential. And so that we have to adhere to the Central Environment Authority guideline to sustainably and safely manage these used acid batteries. So with that, I would like to conclude today's video as well. So please do subscribe to our channel, and if you have any comment, please comment below. So we will see you again in another episode of our video series. So until that, take care. Thank you very much.